dive into the heart of cinema's most unexpected moments. Every story has a twist, but some twists leave you speechless. Are you ready for the twist? In the last part, what happened to Boyka at the hands of George? He suffered a terrible defeat and his leg was broken. After that, his condition became very difficult and he was ostracized in prison. He ended up cleaning and scrubbing the bathrooms, and until now, the fracture has severely affected his leg. Life doesn't give everything to anyone, and every day its condition changes. These days, Kus has taken Boyka's place and has become the prison champion and the strongest wrestler among the inmates. And the inmates salute him by name. Gaga is the one handling this matter, and his official sponsor is Sikov. He bets on him and wins gold from it. Honestly, in any match Kus enters, he crushes his opponent, defeats him, and makes his face bleed from every part. After the match, Kus was walking out of the prison with Markov, and he dropped some money. By chance, B-Cab saw him and left the money as charity. This made him angry, so he left them and walked away. This was the first time he saw Boyka after what happened to him, and he was very surprised by his appearance. The next day, Boyka learned that his pardon was rejected, and for the crimes he committed, they wouldn't allow him to stand before the court for another 15 years. During this time, Boyka is trying to train and get his leg back to how it was, and all that's on his mind is achieving his dream and becoming the best fighter in the world. At that moment, Gaga finds that he wants to help him because he hasn't forgotten that he earned a lot from him before, and he agrees with Markov that he will work in the library and stay in a better cell than this one. But strangely, Boyka refuses his offer and tells him that he deserves what happened to him and that this is his place now. Boyka tells Gaga that if he really wants to help him, he should let him enter the upcoming tournament and return to fighting to face Sikov. But Gaga thinks it's impossible for him to beat him with his injured leg. And even if he defeats Sikov, how will he be able to go to the championship where the best fighters in the world compete? Kus, as usual, defeats his opponent, and the referee announces his victory and celebrates with the prisoners. Suddenly, he finds a bucket of water thrown at him, and Boyka appears in the scene. The one who profits from it, and the one who organized this entire tournament, is a guy named Rizzo, who has booked a businessman in a very luxurious 5-star hotel. When Boyka enters the prison, he finds a group of the strongest fighters in the world, and the prison warden, welcomes them to the International Prison Championship. The fighters come from different countries, like Korea, Croatia, France, Greece, America, and others. But the most dangerous among them is the fighter Raul from Georgia, who is imprisoned in the same prison they are in. Turbo, the American fighter, starts cursing and getting angry, which makes the guards beat him and teach him a lesson. This competition is important, and the arena is large and clean, just like the arenas of international competitions, which makes the fighters amazed when they see it. The fighters are obviously not here for leisure. They are, after all, in prison, and each one of them is placed in their cell. At the hotel, Rizzo welcomes the businessmen and invites them to a lavish lunch, seeing it as an excellent opportunity for them to make more money and become rich. The next day, Rizzo gathers the fighters and tells them that each one has 1 hour for training, but first they must go break stones with the other prisoners, because everyone here is the same. The place they work in is like a pit surrounded on all sides and heavily guarded. Turbo gets annoyed, refuses to break the stones, and attacks the guards, telling them that he's not into this kind of work, but Boyka continues his job normally and breaks the stones. And before a problem starts between them, the guards intervene and let them continue their work. They notice that Raul is sitting under the sunshade reading his book, and this annoys them, but they can't do anything about it. When they return to the prison, the fighters are very exhausted, and none of them can enter the training yard except for Boyka and Turbo, who still have some energy left, and they make the most of every minute to train and prepare themselves for the matches. The next day, the screens and cameras are set up to broadcast the matches live. Businessmen arrive at the prison and enjoy the organization and the money spent on the event. The first match between the Greek and the Brazilian fighter is very quick. The Brazilian uses amazing techniques, hitting the Greek from every direction, and manages to win easily. The second match is between Turbo and the Croatian fighter Andrew. Turbo uses his punches with strength and speed, making Andrew lose his energy. In the end, he delivers a powerful blow that makes Andrew fall, and Turbo wins in a match that was relatively easy. The third match comes, and Boyka is worried because he knows his leg might affect him, but he starts the match strongly, manages to turn it in his favor, grabs the French fighter, and crushes him. People are surprised by his speed and strength. The opponent loses his strength and tries to resist, but Boyka defeats him and continues the tournament with power. In the tournament, Boyka proves himself and shows up as a strong opponent in front of everyone. The final match today begins between Boyka and Raul. Raul starts the attack quickly, but Boyka receives his blows steadily and laughs. And at one moment, he manages to deliver a powerful blow that makes Boyka spin around. After that, Raul hits him hard and continues with consecutive strikes until Boyka loses his focus. The audience sees Raul as a formidable opponent, and the other fighters start to worry that he might win the championship easily. Even his friend Joe is shocked by what he saw and loses hope of winning. After the match, the guards take the losing fighters in a transport vehicle, claiming they will be released. But the truth is that the guards take them to an abandoned place, and as soon as they get out, the guards shoot them and finish them off. The next day, the remaining fighters go to break stones while Raul sits back and enjoys the atmosphere. At that moment, Turbo notices Boyka's injury and tries to provoke him, telling him that he is also a strong fighter and could defeat him. Boyka doesn't like Turbo's words, and he punches him and orders him to shut up. At that moment, the guards let the two fight, and Boyka and Turbo hit each other hard until the guards intervene, separate them, and take them for a special punishment in a solitary confinement called the dungeon, a small, dark, and filthy place that makes them stand on their feet all the time. Solitary confinement is very difficult for Boyka due to his leg injury, so he has to stand most of the time on one leg. The next day, the businessmen who bet on the fighters come to the manager, Wardyne, to protest the harsh treatment the fighters are receiving, but they are surprised to find Raul in the office. Warden tells them that all of this is for their benefit to ensure Raul's victory and achieve significant gains from the bets. Over time, Boyka and Turbo realize that they need to cooperate with each other and face what is happening to them in prison, and they start to understand and support each other in training. While Raul continues to train and prepare himself for the championship using steroids to become stronger in the upcoming matches. In the end, Turbo forms a friendship with Boyka despite the challenges they went through, and they continue to try to prove themselves despite the difficult circumstances. The next day, Turbo starts to notice that everything around him is organized, including the competition, and he knows that the goal is Raul's victory. He feels frustrated because of the circumstances, but he understands that winning is not just a matter of rest and training, but also strength, determination, and willpower. This motivates him to train seriously with Boyka, who gradually becomes a major driving force for Turbo, and they start working together on breaking stones as part of their training, despite their fatigue and hunger. The guards notice the new energy that has emerged in Boyka and Turbo, and this makes them suspicious. One day, Turbo confesses to Boyka that the tattoo on him is for his children whom he misses seeing. They talk about their goals and reasons for wanting to win. Turbo wants freedom for his family, while Boyka is driven by his dream of becoming the best fighter in the world. During the match between Boyka and the Brazilian fighter, the fight is intense, and each fighter tries to exploit the other's weaknesses. Boyka manages to gain control in the end, wrapping his leg around his opponent's head and forcing him to submit. After the match, the Brazilian is killed by the guards at the usual location. The officials, including Warden and Rizzo, start to feel threatened by Boyka, so they plan to pressure him even more. They grab Turbo and beat him brutally, then throw him into the cell completely broken. Boyka visits him and sees his condition, which increases his anger and determination to train even harder. Boyka hears from one of the prisoners that the fighters who lose never reappear after the guards take them. This raises Trebu's concern, and in the end, he listens to Boyka and decides to escape. The guards notice and try to stop him, but Boyka stands by him, takes the keys, and helps him escape to the forest. In a critical moment, Boyka faces one of the armed guards and defeats him, and Boyka eventually learns that George, who was supposed to support him, betrayed him and bet on Raul, which makes him feel angry and frustrated, but he prepares for his final match with all his strength, despite the betrayal he faced. On the anticipated day of the championship, the confrontation between Boyka and his opponent Raul begins, and Boyka launches his attack with strength and speed, but he finds it difficult to handle Raul's skills. After several attempts, Raul tries to control Boyka and grabs his leg, exploiting the weakness Boyka has been suffering from due to his previous injury. The violent attack causes Boyka to fall to the ground and start suffering from severe pain, and Raul thinks he has secured the victory. But Boyka, with all his determination and intelligence, remembers the past and what he suffered from the previous defeat. He gathers his determination and decides to return to the ring, tying a piece of cloth around his leg to stabilize it, and begins to attack with all his might. Boyka shows extraordinary determination and starts turning the tables in his favor, with each blow he delivers being stronger than the last, until he completely dominates Raul. At the end of the match, Boyka manages to break through Raul's defense and defeat him, and the final blow breaks Raul's leg, ending the match in Boyka's favor. The audience is in a state of shock after Boyka won, despite all the challenges, and at the same time, Jaga loses millions of dollars because of his betrayal of Boyka. After the victory, Rizzo tries to betray Boyka and orders his execution, but things change when one of the guards storms in and a confrontation occurs between them. Boyka ends up killing Rizzo, and the betrayal is revealed. Boyka returns to prison despite winning, but Turbo appears and frees him, revealing that he was confident in Boyka's victory and had bet on him from the beginning. In the end, Boyka is released for the first time, and finally he can smile, having become rich and achieved his dream of being the strongest fighter in the world. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new videos. See ya!